250 միլիոն դրամ Vivaro խաղերում։ Մանրամասները vivaro.am կայքում։
Thank you. Thank you very much, dear Professor Stefan Herzig. Thank you for your introduction. Dear representative of academia, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor for me to be here and share with you the Armenian vision of the promise of digital and technological age. A permanent technological revolution has now been underway for many decades, and it is an irreversible reality moving us to the threshold of the fourth industrial revolution. It has brought a promise of freedom and independence, of collaboration and exchange without limits, of boundless possibilities. The progressive transformation of everything we do, say, and produce is clearly visible. Digital devices have changed the way we relate to one another. A new chemistry is generated between consumers and producers, users and suppliers, and more importantly, between citizens and governments. The IT enables us to establish communication channels that cannot be controlled. Technology has empowered citizens to amplify their voices and hold governments accountable. To make it simple, they make democracy more accessible and accessible. This is what exactly happened in Armenia. IT was of the case to the success of the Armenian velvet non-violent people's revolution. Using social media, the Armenian people mobilized to deny the former elite who did not enjoy the people's trust and confidence. They rejected decades-long era of deception and fraud. With the Velvet Revolution, Armenians put an end to the era of bad governance to ensure transparency. They put an end to the era of unrestricted power to make government accountable. The Armenian people put an end to the abuse of fundamental rights and freedoms to ensure better quality of life. Transparency, accountability, and better protection of human rights, just to name a few of positive transformations that digital and technological age promises. The Armenian people has successfully made the most of it and committed themselves to establish a true democracy. By holding snap parliamentary elections, this phase of the Velvet Revolution has been completed. Now we have a task not less important. We desperately need an economic revolution. To this end, we are going to widely utilize all the opportunities that digital age promises. Ladies and gentlemen, the promise of the digital and technological age is even bigger when it comes to relation between consumers and producers, users and suppliers. Consumers able to afford and access the digital world have gained a lot from ordering a taxi, booking a flight, buying a product, making a payment to listening to music, watching a film, or playing a game. Any of this can already be done online. Technological innovation has also led to benefits for suppliers. Logistics and global supply chains have become more effective, and the cost of trade has decreased. All this have opened new markets, fostering economic growth. More importantly, IT and digital age enhance international competitiveness of individual countries. This is especially true for small countries like Armenia that due to geographical and geopolitical restrictions have limited impact on global processes. IT provides level playing field for all actors, regardless their might and skill. Also, for this reason, the Armenian government has prioritized the sector of high technologies as one of the major pillars of its economic development. Leaning on almost century-long traditions, we are on the path to building a truly technological and industrial economy. We want to meet 21st century standards with ever wider opportunities and prospects to position Armenia as a country producing high value and knowledge intensive goods and services with creative human capital at its core. Armenia was considered to be the former Soviet Union Silicon Valley, where nearly to the Soviet era first semiconductor computer and one of the first in the world was manufactured. The major part of computing systems and electronics for submarines and spacecraft of the USSR were both invented and manufactured in Armenia. Advanced antenna research, design and production was conducted in Armenia. The major semiconductor design, production, test, and integration centers were in Armenia. Today, the Armenian potential has widened up. The IT sector in Armenia grew fivefold over the past 7 years with an annual rate of about 25%. Multinational companies like Synopsys, National Instruments, Cisco, VMWR, TeamViewer, Mentor Graphics, owned by Siemens, and others have big research and development offices in Armenia with thousands of employees solving the most complex problems in 5G, advanced drive assistance system, machine-to-machine communications, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, robotics, and other applications. Armenia's current potential enables us to implement programs both with our compatriots from the diaspora and international organizations, and why not with the IT giants. We are launching exciting startup projects to create ecosystem incubators, including sustainable development laboratories. Artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, blockchain, and semiconductor technologies are among our priorities. The education is also very much focused on technologies. In Armenia, we established the TUMO Center for Creative Technologies. Its educational program is acknowledged worldwide as an Armenian brand. It has already been introduced in a number of developed countries, such as France, Germany, and Russia. At the same time, we give school children the opportunity to study robotics in armored laboratories. Armenia has a National Academy of Sciences with many research institutions in physics, math, astronomy, biology, chemistry, and other subjects. And of course, I cannot but mention the National Polytechnic University of Armenia. Your university just signed a memorandum on academic cooperation with. With the potential that these two universities have, I have no doubt that in the near future we will hear about their joint successful initiatives. I attach high importance to the collaboration of Armenian universities and their faculty with their international counterparts. The networks created by international collaboration in science and technology open up new horizons. And last but not least, Armenia's main asset is its bright-minded and talented people with cutting-edge education. Due to this, Armenian startups are evolving speedily, some of them coming in leading place on the roadmap of technology. It is a proven fact when Armenians are provided with opportunities, they are always successful. This is why more Armenians stand out in diaspora as compared to the homeland. This is why our government is doing its best to ensure compatible environment in Armenia to make it a home for intellectual potential of its people. In acknowledgement of this potential, for the first time in the 40-year history of the World Congress on International Technologies, a small developing country as Armenia will be hosting the very Congress. The mere fact that the largest and the most reputable international event in the industry will be held in Armenia speaks for itself. More than 2,000 delegates are expected to attend from about 60 countries. I am extending an invitation to you all to come and participate in the Congress. It will also be an opportunity to get first-hand information about Armenia and the level of development of information and communication technologies there, and last but not least, enjoy our ancient culture, hospitality, art, and food. Ladies and gentlemen, the promise of digital and technological age is limitless. The mere possibility of billions of people to connect to each other with unlimited storage capacity and unrestricted access to knowledge paves the way to do the impossible. Technology breakthrough in such fields as artificial intelligence, robotics, nanotechnology, biotechnology, and others create opportunity for this. Armenia seizes these opportunities to reface its economy in a try to translate in its political revolution into an economic one. Thank you very much.
As I understand, Mr. Prime Minister is happy to take your questions.
Yes.
Other questions in the audience? As you think about it, maybe I start out. You mentioned at the outset the importance of new media and IT for the spread of information, for transparency, and for the fostering of the democratic movement in your country. We have seen this in other places. We have also seen that by means of information technology, social momenta of a bad kind have developed under the fake news agenda. So the question for you is, how do you want to deal with this as a ruler? There are countries that deal with it in a very restrictive manner. Don't want to mention examples. And this is obviously not the ideal way to balance the technological potential and the transparency with the potential of abuse and bad movements in this sector.
Thank you very much for that question. You know, to be honest, recently we were discussing this topic of fake news with the leaders from worldwide in Davos, and all we accepted that we have no idea what to do with this problem. But you know, for countries like Armenia, with young democracy, I think the protection of right of expression and free speech is more important than to try to protect government from fake news. You know, I would be honest, fake news now is a very big problem for all government of all countries, and for our government and for me personally too, because we have now in Armenian social media a huge amount of fake news about me personally, about my family, about my government, about our political team, about current situation in Armenia. But you know, it would be very wrong temptation for us to try to use our authority to restrict any kind of right of expression in order to prevent our audience from fake news. I think that the better way to do that is the same education. I think this situation, many people now see what's going on. I'm not sure what part of people understand the importance of problem of fake news. What part of people don't understand? But I think in the process, people will gain ability to differentiate fake news from real news, and I think it should be done like that, through the experience, through the education, through the informational education, through technological education, and of course I think researchers will think about the technologies that will protect society from fake news without restricting right of expression and free speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm happy that you say this in this place at a University of Applied Science, because I think we all agree our understanding about the role of research in education or research-based education as such is, of course, that this research leads to new things and maybe discoveries and maybe useful inventions. But as a main asset, research-based education should provide young people with the skill, with the lifelong skill, if possible, to be able by themselves to tell apart the truth from the lie, the more probable from the less probable, by having the methodological approaches to criticize whatever they hear, whatever they learn, by whoever there is or whoever there seems to be. Further questions?
You mentioned also the Davos conference, World Economic Forum, and in the beforehand the risk report was published, raising issues like you've mentioned, digitization, but also climate change. Now, I'm aware that Armenia is not only a beautiful country, has a rich culture, but also has some impacts of natural hazards especially. Do you see connections of the topic of climate change and also digitization and all the new technologies as an opportunity also to create markets in economy? Thank you.
Yes, of course, because, you know, many people perceive new technologies, technologies as enemies for environment and for protection of environment. But it can be, this perception has a part of truth. But on the other side, new technologies allow us to solve the environmental issues. And to be honest, thanks to new technologies, now we are aware about the scale of the issue of climate change and environmental issue, etc. In Armenia, to be honest, we have the huge problem of recycling the garbage, and now we are searching for investment on that field because we need to clean up our country, because unfortunately we have no recycling technologies in our country implemented. And the other issue is to increase the demands from the mining sector in our country, because unfortunately our environment was hugely damaged from mining sector, and now we are going to increase and establish very high standards on environment, and very high environmental standards on mining sector, and we hope that we will be able to do that with help of technologies. And it's very important not only implement and create and establish standard, but to have control on implementation process, and for that also new technologies would be very useful. Thank you.
I think I can allow one more question, because that's what the schedule dictates. Yes, please. Wait for the...
Are Western languages.
Excuse me, could you repeat?
Yes, of course. I assume that until 30 years ago, everybody had to learn Russian as a first foreign language at school. How far spread are Western languages like English in your country?
You know, actually we have many schools where children study Russian, English, French, German. In Armenia, we have 200 schools with the German language in the education program. I think that we will have a little more, or no, we have Russian language in all our schools, but we have other languages in all our schools too. I mean, we have 200 schools with German language, maybe more with English, French. We have now some schools with Chinese, with Iranian language, with Georgian language, and it is, you know, it is very important task for New Armenia. I announced that the citizens of contemporary Armenia should know at least 3 foreign languages, and I think it is our strategy to have more and more people with more and more language knowledges. Thank you.
I think we could dream of such a situation here in our country. So I'm very unhappy to cut this short, but due to your schedule, Mr. Prime Minister, we have to finish this session. Let us thank you very warm again for this very illuminating speech and for the nice discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.